Hi, Leah.
Hi, Natasha.
How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm very excited to have you in the interview pod today to talk about all things build your brand. But before we even get there, I want you to introduce yourself and to tell our audience who you are and what you do at Monday.
So firstly, Natasha, I want to thank you for having me in the interview booth. I think it's so fabulous that you're doing this and bringing people's stories. Let me go ahead and introduce myself. My name is Leah Bauman. I'm the head of enterprise product alignment at Monday.com. I'm also the inventor of product alignment, which is something that we created to fill a need that the company had. And we never imagined it would grow to what it is today. Right. I think one of the big strengths of Monday is that we don't do things because that's how they've always been done. Mm-hmm. And while sometimes it feels like we're reinventing the wheel, and that can be frustrating, it also enables us to rethink everything. Mm-hmm. And sometimes we come out with a different way of doing things that's much, much better than the way it's done just because that's the way that everybody does it.
100%.
And that's reflected in the company's success.
Well, you're a superstar here at Monday, but you're also a superstar because of this new initiative that you've started building. I've heard whisperings of it, and then it suddenly came in with a bang. So before we go deep into context and background, explain to me what Build Your Brand is.
So, Build Your Brand is a program that we created and just launched to address the promotion disparities in the workplace for women and people of diversity, BIPOC. And I think that the data shows that these are populations and people that face significant promotion disparities. Mm-hmm. It's for a lot of reasons, really, but it starts with the fact that I think women tend to assume, and other cultures, by the way, tend to assume that their success and the things that they're doing speak for themselves.
Yeah. And
if they are to talk about those things, it would be bragging. It would be
a horde of things.
Exactly. Yeah. And we have this tendency to assume that our manager knows what we're doing at work and the success that we're having. And the fact is that managers don't really know 50%, if you're lucky, of what you're really doing at work. And often the difference between moving forward in your career and not moving forward doesn't come down to the work you do or the success you have, but your ability to showcase that success to your manager.
Yeah, 100%. And I love that this initiative is built on that pain point, shall we call it. I want you to walk me through that aha moment that you had, because this isn't something new. I mean, a lot of people know that there are disparities, let's say, in promotions for women in the workplace. But what was it for you that kind of made you decide and go, I'm doing something about this, I'm creating an initiative, and I'm going for it?
It's a great question. Thank you, because this has been a long journey. And for me, there have been really two aha moments, okay? And the first aha moment for me came when I realized that there was a disparity in the workplace between the promotions opportunities and sponsorship opportunities for men and for women. And that didn't happen overnight. It took years. Right? And we all have a tendency to feel like things are just happening to us and we don't see the patterns. We're not capable of zooming out. But there came a day, actually, I think it was about 2 years ago, when I read Sheryl Sandberg's Lean In. You know who Sheryl Sandberg is.
Of course,
the queen.
The queen.
My dream is to meet her. So Sheryl, if you're listening to this, my name is Leah Bauman, and I would love to hang out. But seriously, she's been a real inspiration for me. I've read, pretty much everything she's put out at this point. But when I read Lean In and I saw the data behind some of the things that I felt deep inside, but wasn't even comfortable speaking out loud in my own head.
Yeah.
Okay. I was like blown away, and I said, oh, wow, there's a pattern here.
Yeah.
Okay. And maybe that's obvious, but it wasn't obvious to me. The second aha moment came last year at Elevate. So this is full circle for me, okay? I was watching some of the women that I had nominated to speak at Elevate speak, doing an amazing job. Some of them had been to some of my sessions or workshops before, and all amazing women with really powerful business success behind them, who were, for the first time, some of them getting up and really showcasing it.
Wow.
And coming off the stage and telling me, thank you for pushing me to do this. You know, it really helped me get noticed by my manager. And it really helped me showcase success internally and get promoted.
Wow.
It was like the hammer falls. It was like the bell rang. And I was like, oh my God, Monday gets people promoted. I said, we have to do something with this because it's such a great concept. Monday's helped me get promoted. How have I moved forward at Monday?
Yeah.
I've always showcased success through my dashboards and reporting in Monday. Monday has enabled me to have a voice, right? In conversations I'm not in, and to really make it super transparent and visible what I'm doing at work.
Yeah.
And that enabled me to get where I am today.
That is amazing to hear how this is sort of planting the seed for women to really start breaking those barriers, those glass ceilings, shall we say. Talk me through a little bit about how you're structuring some of these workshops for Build Your Brand.
Okay.
What can people expect when they're signing up for one workshop with you?
Okay, so let's talk about that. That's another great question. I love your questions. But first, I just want to stress something that's important for me to point out, okay? I love Monday, I love working here, and I love our product. But this isn't about Monday. You need to be able to use whatever tools you use at work in order to showcase success, and to think about how you're going to showcase success in the way that's right for you. And it doesn't matter what you use. It doesn't matter if you use Smartsheet or Asana or Monday or anything else.
Yeah.
It's not about the tool. It's about you building something that showcases your success. So let's just start with that, because I think that's an important clarification.
Yeah.
The other piece of it is the Build Your Brand structure. Okay, so I love ideas. Ideas are the best. But execution is often a dream killer, shall we say? And the
harder part.
Yeah. The idea people aren't always as good as the execution, and you really need both sides. I think that's that whole strategy to execution bit. So I partnered. Firstly, I went out and I got senior leadership sponsorship. Okay.
Wow. Okay.
So I said, I can't do this myself, and no one wants to hear everything from me. Right. So I posted in our women's channel, and I said, I'm starting this program, I'm launching this, and I told them why I'm launching it, and I said, who wants to join me? Okay, let's start a revolution.
Join me.
And I got the most amazing response from our women community at Monday.com.
Wow.
Everybody wanted to pitch in, everybody wanted to help. So I used Monday to start building a project plan, and I secured the sponsorship of Olga Liakova, our head of partnerships in North America, and she comes to us with an amazing experience of running the Google I Am Remarkable workshop, which I don't know if you're familiar with.
I have taken a part of that workshop, and it actually was one of the hardest workshops I've ever been a part of. It was so challenging for me to write down I am remarkable because, and I just stared at the screen on my sheet of paper and just didn't know what to write. So it was very transformational to attend one of those. So if that's part of your build your brand strategy, Leah, sign me up.
Oh, consider yourself signed up. Consider yourself signed up, definitely. So Olga brought the I Am Remarkable piece and she said, this is what I can contribute to this program.
Yeah.
And I think it's a great idea, right? So
Yeah.
she was on board. And then Lindsay Browning, our new director of account management, who is one of my favorite people at Monday. She's such a strong leader.
Wow.
And she's got such a great just presence and persona and leadership style. So she came to us from LinkedIn. She was 11 years at LinkedIn. And I thought she's perfect for the external piece because it's not enough to build your brand at your own workplace. You really have to also think about how you're building your brand externally.
Yep.
In order to take advantage of every opportunity and to make the connections and to build your brand.
Yeah.
And she agreed to bring that piece in. She actually has a great story, incredibly powerful, about how she built her brand and what she invested into that.
Wow.
So I bring the Monday piece. I bring the tools piece. I explain how I used Monday to showcase success and to be intentional about showcasing success in order to capitalize on just not having to speak up all the time, not having to toot my own horn, not having to be in every meeting, to be confident that I was getting credit for work I was doing even when I wasn't in the room. And to align with how my manager saw success, right? And how the company saw success.
Yeah.
So I bring that piece into it, and that's definitely my favorite part to prepare for. I had such a great time with creating the content, and it was like really good to get it out.
Amazing.
Of my head because it's sort of been swirling in there for a long time. We got great feedback. And I think that really like completes the package of a great workshop.
I think it's amazing to hear you speak about the structure, Leah, because it's really, you're kind of touching on all aspects, the internal aspect, the tracking aspect for just who you are at work, and then the very much external aspect of bringing that brand to social media, which sometimes can be the toughest and most nerve-wracking aspect because it's very vulnerable. I know that you start some of the workshops, and tell me if I'm wrong, with understanding your why. How did you choose understanding your why as the starting point for it?
Understanding your why is a concept from Simon Sinek that I absolutely love, okay? And I think that you cannot build your brand without addressing understanding of your why, right? What drives you?
Yeah.
Who do you want to be? Who do you want the world to view you as?
Yeah.
And how are you going to shape the world's opinion of you? And it all starts with that concept of understanding your why.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, beyond the workshops, right now you're starting with the workshops. What is the long-term vision for Build Your Brand, the community that you're building and putting together? Where do you see this initiative in the next 5-10 years? What's the big dream, Leah?
Oh, wow.
Tell me it.
Okay, I love this. I love this because in a lot of ways, when you speak these things out loud, that's what drives them to become a reality.
Manifest it.
Yes. And I think, sorry to bring it back to Monday, but I'm going to do it because I think some of the power that Monday gives me is that it allows me to put words into a plan that drives it into reality.
Yeah.
Right? And like that's super, super powerful. For the next few years, I want to grow this and take it out to as many women as possible. Yeah. I want to attach it to other events that we're doing. And as we travel around doing events in different cities, I want to make sure that we make space for populations that have a harder time finding their path at work.
Yeah.
Whoever those people might be. right? And obviously, I don't want to exclude anybody from the program. And I think one day I definitely see it, including all genders and all populations. For me, I really wanted to start with the women. And then I guess the last thing I might add, and I probably shouldn't say this, so you can always cut it out in the editing.
Say it, Leah.
I'm going to say it, okay? Because the most scary thing that happened to me on this journey, and this is like really hard for me to say, I'm being really vulnerable right now with this, okay? Is that I talked about it a lot. That's how I work through things, and that's how I build things. And all of the women that I would speak to about this had such positive encouragement and were so excited about this concept and completely saw the need for it, and it resonates with them. But when I spoke to men in my life, friends, family, people that I respect and people that I believe are allies and feminists, had this look on their face like, are you sure that this is what you want to bring up? Are you sure that like you want to brand yourself as somebody who's talking about women versus men in the workplace? And those reactions were really hard for me to see, but also emphasized the need for something like this. And it made me like deeply understand that yes, I do need to get up and talk about this. And I'm just incredibly excited to see what we can build. And I'm really excited with the reception that we've had so far.
Thank you for being vulnerable, Leah. I think those conversations are very challenging, and to bring up an initiative like this and the initial reaction being a men versus women conversation is a interesting reaction to why is it empowering women have to be versus men, you know?
I think they were just concerned that I was going to brand myself as somebody who is highlighting promotion disparities when they may be considered like, if all of the leadership are men, and you're going out there and you're saying we have a problem because not enough women are making it forward and they're not getting the sponsorship they need, right? Does that make you more or less likable?
Leah, I want to end our chat with one last question. There are a lot of themes here that are so, so important. And as you build this dream and go on a roadshow of shouting from the rooftops about this initiative, for the women that are watching this right now, what is one thing that they can start doing immediately that can put them on the path of speaking and advocating for themselves?
So I think that the first actionable thing, the easiest thing to do out of anything is to start to understand how your manager sees success. What does success mean to them? What does it mean to their manager? And how does the work you're doing contribute to that? And that's research. You don't actually have to do anything except ask questions and start to put together a picture of what does success look like at the company and specifically for you. And another thing that you can do immediately is to start curating your LinkedIn profile. And you know what? We all leave it to the last thing on our plate and everything else comes first. And I am absolutely guilty of this. If you look at my LinkedIn profile, you're gonna see no headline, okay? No description of what I do. Remember, I invented my job role. So if I don't explain it, nobody knows what it is. And like very few posts over the last 7 years other than like the sporadic Monday achievement, okay? So I'm definitely someone who needs to invest in myself as well. But prioritizing yourself and dedicating time to building your own brand, that's on you, right? And making that time and making that space and deciding to do that, on you. And the content, ChatGPT.
What a way to end this interview, Leah. It's been such a pleasure. And I can't wait to see where this initiative gets to, grows to, and it's gonna take over the world. And I'm very excited that you're leading the charge of it.
Thank you so much.